Using words like ghosting as a clause in a legal document, I've seen some things I never thought I would see. Welcome back to another impromptu installment of Sham or Scam ? I'm Stephanie, your favorite recovering lawyer, and today we are having water and chill. This potential sham or scam caught my eye for numerous reasons. A bit of background about me: if you're new here, I worked in tech for almost a decade, mostly as a commercial counsel, contracts lawyer, negotiating software deals for sales teams at various tech companies, as well as advising the product engineering teams. And because some startups are very small and I've been a legal team of one, that was not fun. That was a wild ride. I have also done employment law within the tech sphere as well. So last week, while Twitter was having its own fiasco maybe going down, there was simultaneously another potential sham going on, dealing with my tech best friend. So how did, in their own words, a tech education and career development based service that helps and assists minorities in our communities to break into the tech space in the smoothest way possible, go from being profiled by Afrotech to having that same article being taken down by Afrotech to now being at the center of a potential sham or scam? Let's get into it. Our agenda is going to be a bit of background about my tech best friend, as well as the rise of tech coding boot camps. Then we are going to go line by line through some of the clauses in this contract. It was an interesting read. I'm going to say from now already, using words like ghosting as a clause in a legal document, I've seen some things I never thought I would see. Lastly, we'll go through the response, apology, as well as some actual free resources if you're looking to pivot your career into tech. All right, before the very recent bust of Twitter and Meta, tech for the better half of the past decade has really not seen massive large-scale layoffs in terms of big tech. So Google, Amazon, Meta, Twitter, that nature. However, if you work in a startup, which is a smaller tech company, private tech company, usually using VC money, venture capital money, there are plenty of booms or busts. However, that has not stopped people from wanting to pivot their career into what they seemingly believe to be a very solid sector. And for what it's worth, tech overall is one of the most stable sectors that you can work in. However, with people wanting to pivot their careers, there has been the new introduction of coding boot camps, tech boot camps, some of which are free, some of which are paid, and the underlying creeping in of some disingenuous potential bad actors who may or not be actually preying on others that are simply trying to better themselves. So what is a coding bootcamp? A coding bootcamp is a specific type of bootcamp which teaches you a coding language, whether that's Python. It used to be C++ back in the day. Nobody has used C++ in decades. JavaScript, etc. A tech preparedness bootcamp, however, can teach you some actual practical skills as well as how to pass a technical interview. If you are looking for a product-related job, most likely you will have to have a whiteboarding portion of that interview. And in terms of the way tech coding bootcamps have been set up, some of them are completely free, some of them are paid, and then some of them are paid later. So in those instances, students will sign up. They don't pay initially for the courses. After they finish the 6 to 8 months course, they then get a placement with a potential tech company, and they're contractually obligated to pay the company that provided them the course either between 1 to 5 years, a certain percentage from their salary. Now, one of the largest issues that is now creeping up is because there are so many people that want to pivot into tech with the possibility of work from home and the perceived implication that tech is a safer bet than maybe regular corporate. Statistically, it's about the same, but tech does pay a little bit more depending on if you're a MarTech, which is marketing tech, or FinTech, financial tech. FinTech pays the best. FinTech has the worst hours, as somebody who used to work in FinTech as well. One of the issues now is you're seeing a lot of people potentially repackaging or just using other companies' materials and selling them at a very much high-end price. Insert the allegations that some of these tech boot camps are actually just elaborate shams. Mary, the founder of My Tech Best Friend, it is now being alleged by a few of her students, as well as in some screenshot receipts, which they posted to Twitter, that she is simply packaging free information or using other courses' information. A repackaging, if you may. So, according to Alert Category 3, she also told students to steal resources from companies to boost their portfolios. Of course, this is an allegation, to which the allegation is attached with a screenshot purporting to be from Mary herself, which states, please take the time to look through the various case studies specific to the areas you are trying to secure jobs in and make your portfolios emulate that. So, in parenthetical, client challenge, work done, and solution, and throw some of their projects in your back pocket. Also use the way their case studies are formulated as a way to articulate yourself in technical interviews. I mean, it's kind of on the edge with that one. What I found most interesting in looking up articles that Mary used herself to legitimize her business, most of these articles have been archived, the Afrotech article to be specific, you can't click on it, and the Insider article, which has been removed from actualinsider.com. What I found most interesting was in this Insider article, the title proclaims, a self-taught engineer explains how her strategy for helping over 120 newcomers find boring but high-paying tech jobs is helping to even the economic playing field for underrepresented groups. Mary Awodele started her career in tech as a self-taught systems administrator. I mean, I think it's really interesting that someone has admitted they taught themselves, but they want you to pay multiple thousands of dollars for them to teach you, even though there are free resources on the internet. And which again, I'm going to list some of the free resources at the end of this video because I want y'all to succeed, and to be honest, you deserve the money, honey. Now on to these text allegations. Hey guys, the general MTBF, my tech best friend, cohort chat has been deleted. The only chat we will have is specific to your cohort. Thanks and have a nice day. Also guys, a few of you guys follow me on my personal social media and have brought up to me what I said on my story was offensive to you. If you do follow me and watched my story, did you find my post offensive? And if you did, I sincerely apologize, as that was not my intention. What is the post in question? Apparently, Mary decided to go on her personal social media and say she vehemently hates when people use her services and do not tell her that they have been placed into a tech job. Mind you, they're placing themselves. She's not offering placement services. She's offering advisement. From what I can see, she's offering $100 intake calls for her to give you an assessment of your career. It's interesting. And she's also offering tech education so you can upskill. The placement you do on your own. And she vehemently hates so much that when people do not tell her they've been placed, she'd rather be called the N-word. Hard ER. To which many of her students rightfully were very upset by that language. Because again, this is somebody who has stated in multiple online publications as well as on their own website they want to help underrepresented groups, particularly Black people. Now, after that alleged kerfuffle, Mary removed herself from her company's group chats as well as the Discord to which she interfaced with her students, and instead she had another team member whose name was Nikki step in to ease the tension in the situation. One large problem though, Nikki spoke as if she was Mary. Exhibit A, Nikki MTBF, this is the other employee, allegedly. You guys want to know what happened? I want your opinions. So then Nikki responds, so basically on my personal IG, I stated, Nikki? Who? That not telling me you get a job is a bit disrespectful. I also said these words jokingly because you know how extreme and dramatic I am. Not telling me you get a job is more offensive to me than calling me a derogatory term. At everyone, and some people got offended, which I understand enough to turn into a mob that's suddenly against me. To which people realize, well, if you're saying I and talking in the first person, Nikki is likely Mary. So they decided to interact with Mary and call her Mary at that and proceed to have the conversation. This is one of the most interesting things I've seen in a hot second. And one of the former students, and guess who Nikki is? Mary, capital letters. Of course she won't be jumping on a call with anyone because it's her. And then she's messaged cohort 1 from her Nikki profile and she did not offer any refunds, not even partial. The lies continue. And this tweet really took me out. Mary really do play in y'all's face. She's the CEO, lawyer, receptionist, secretary. She's everything for MTBF. It's giving, I was your lover and your secretary, working every day of the week. Oh, that's a lot of hats to wear. And interestingly enough, what the Twitter user was alluding to in saying Mary may also be the lawyer is because this website and these legal terms are a little non-existent. So when I poked around on the website, it wants you to sign. Please sign below to agree to my tech best friend's bootcamp policy terms and conditions. When you click on the form to see the actual policy, this pops up. Form over quota. And it doesn't show you what the actual terms are. Do not sign things you have never seen before. Which brings us to the actual contract. And I'm using that word very loosely. It should be noted, you don't need to be a lawyer to sign a contract. You don't need to be a lawyer to understand a contract for the most part, the general terms. You don't need to be a lawyer to write a contract. However, if you are going to write a legal document for your company by yourself, it would behoove you to hire an actual lawyer to just go over it, proof it, and make sure things make sense. Because if not, you end up looking a fool on social media. And in terms of understanding your contracts, a good lawyer should be able to explain to you every single section that you have questions about, as well as enable you to be able to advocate for yourself and understand certain business terms by yourself. Part of this channel, one of the big things that I very much believe in as a lawyer is democratizing and making sure it is accessible for people to understand their own contracts. Of course, a lawyer can help you if something is 50 pages, super complicated, but a statement of work, if you have followed this channel long enough, we've gone through so many of them that many of you make me very proud, know how to read your own contracts, and also understand when to spot like, this doesn't feel right, let me go ask somebody with a legal degree. All right, first and foremost, this scholarship contract is 1 page. Okay. Student scholarship recipients must always be in good standing at all times as your representation of this growing community. Student scholarship recipients must have MTBF student in their Twitter and LinkedIn accounts if applicable. Rep us, send a screenshot when completed. Scholarship will be reflected on final invoice and will be deducted from the total of the bootcamp's cost. These are more so, I would say, less a scholarship contract and more so guidelines that you need to abide by as a scholarship recipient. So no huge red flags there. The contract, however, which Mary states a lawyer did review it, after reviewing it as a lawyer that passed the bar on the first try, I can say with confidence, I do not believe that a lawyer has been within 5 feet of the contract. Terms like ghosting, sections that allude to therapy when this has nothing to do to therapy, would lead me to believe that a lawyer has not been anywhere near it. Now, we're going to get into a few of the clauses. Let's start with refunds and chargebacks. First and foremost, why in section 4, this course does not constitute a therapeutic relationship or medical one. We do not provide therapy or medical services. What? Why is that in a contract for a coding bootcamp? What happens with some of these small businesses when they start out? I know that people are overwhelmed, so sometimes they will download things from the internet. That's understandable, but you gotta read what you downloaded, because this not making sense. The refund section is interesting. Due to the digital nature of this course, the company cannot process any refunds. In the event of early termination, the student agrees to make timely and full payments as agreed upon with this agreement. Student agrees and consents to give company authorization to charge student's card or account on file for payment and fees owed. I would never do a non-refundable contract. Like, I need to know what happens if I feel like the services are bad, I'm not getting what I paid for, I want my money back. Because I'm just going to call the credit card company and tell them that I have been bamboozled, led astray. Disputes and ghosting. Yes, this is actually written into the contract that ghosting is a clause. Ghosting is not a legal term. Ghosting is barely a real word. What is this, Tinder? Company is a service provider, and therefore it is the student's responsibility to communicate with company in order to ensure all services can be completed in a timely manner. If student fails to respond after receiving communication from company after a period of 30 days, company reserves the right to reflect all services as completed under this agreement. There are so many things written in here that are not enforceable. Just because it's written in there doesn't mean a judge would enforce it. Dispute resolution. This really made me chuckle. The parties will attempt to resolve all disputes related to this agreement through friendly negotiations. What if you try to resolve it and you're a little irritated? I mean, if I want $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 of my money back, I'm not exactly going to be your BFF Jill. Non-disparagement and defamation, specifically these clauses, most likely a judge wouldn't enforce them because you're allowed to have an opinion. You're allowed to give feedback about a company's. Defamation is when you knowingly say something false about someone or an entity knowing that it is false, or you say something with such reckless disregard, you should have known that it would have caused harm. Saying, I don't like those services, I use those services, and in my opinion, this is a load of crap, is not defamation. Non-disparagement. During the student's enrollment, participation, and thereafter, student shall not make any disparaging remarks or remarks that could be reasonably construed as disparaging remarks. Specifically, in any venue, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Reddit, etc. Students shall not, during the term, at any time thereafter, directly or indirectly, in public or private, in any manner, in any medium whatsoever, deprecate, impugn, or otherwise make any comments. These are such interesting words to use in a contract. That's not how you'd use the word deprecate, but okay. Writings, remarks, or other expressions that would or could be construed to defame company's reputation, nor shall student assist any other person, firm, or company in so doing. This is largely unenforceable. If you say something to somebody in private, how is that going to cause public harm? Because remember, for defamation, you have to show that harm occurred. How are you causing public harm if you tell your mom, Mom, I really want to change my career and I just spent $3,000 and I feel like I'm being bamboozled? I don't know who wrote this. This is fascinating. So then, after all this occurred, my tech best friend and Mary issued this lengthy apology on Twitter. However, the comments are turned off. I guess feedback was not wanted. Why you would mention that you sent floor arrangements to one of the students that unfortunately passed away to their family is beyond me. Very fascinating. The grammar of the apology is also interesting. And specifically, we also understand everyone's skeptic concerns surrounding the validity of the course materials, and we want to assure you that none of my tech best friend's content has been plagiarized. We generate original training materials and partner with knowledgeable subject matter experts to provide exceptional resources for our students. Making these types of statements when people have receipts is always interesting. And just days later, from the 17th through the 20th, Mary's Twitter then stated these things. After someone disagreed with her in her apology, you and your dog favor each other. Okay, it's giving very apologetic. And lastly, thanks to everyone who has supported me in the last week. I hope everyone that has lied on my company name, defamed me, bullied me, and encouraged others to do so, stand 10 toes down on everything you said with confidence in the next few weeks. You'll need it. Stay tuned. Whenever people get caught, because we've done Sham and Scam, there are a couple episodes now, there are a couple videos with Sham and Scam now. I find it very interesting that whenever people get caught allegedly doing wrong, they then say, you've defamed me, you've done all these things, I'm going to legally come after you. That doesn't mean they legally have a leg to stand on. Based on the fact that an absolute defense to defamation is the truth, it's going to be hard, based on what I've seen, to prove that any defamation occurred. And based on what I've seen, no defamation occurred because this business is being run in a very interesting way. Now, we'll end on some free resources I want to give y'all. First and foremost, LinkedIn has evolved into the wild, wild west of professional Facebook. However, they do have LinkedIn Learning. It is free for a month on LinkedIn Learning. There are courses available. There are certifications available sometimes. Highly recommend that. Specifically, when I did a quick search, what I found for tech, you can do SQL queries made easy, which is a quick course, and then introductions to Scala. Career Foundry has this excellent list of free 99, you don't pay a dime, coding boot camps and resources, some of which include courses from the esteemed and established MIT. I will leave you with this. There are lots of free resources available. I understand that it can be daunting when you don't know where to look. Start with Career Foundry, also peruse around LinkedIn Learning. Once you even decide if this is for you, just because everyone is going into tech doesn't mean you actually want to go into tech, and that's okay. Once you've decided okay, I would like to do this, then go through course certifications from companies that nobody can dispute their reputation, i.e. Google has plenty of certifications, Salesforce as well. If you're going to invest your money, don't let somebody bamboozle you out of it. All right, on that note, what do y'all think? Is this a sham or a scam? I'll catch y'all in the next video.